The title race is going to be going to the final day after Arsenal managed to beat Man United 1-0 in what was a pretty dull game, and I don't think Arsenal are exactly at their best either. And I'm going to have a look at the tactics board. We'll have a look at how this game came about, how this goal came about in about the 20th minute. And the teams looked something like this in this initial phase. And Arsenal pretty much went man to man. They pressed when the Man United were playing out from the back. Arsenal liked to press man for man. And you can see here, they pretty much have, with the exception maybe being Mainu here, but he's in Rice's cover shadow. So Rice is pretty much pressing Amrabat, but still blocking any potential pass to Mainu, which I really like. Because obviously, any pass that tries to come in from this direction into Mainu, Rice can quickly get across and block it. Similarly, any pass that comes in from like this direction, again, Rice can come across and block it. Which is why I think Arsenal like to go for man, really squeezes the pitch to where they want the play to go. The thing is, and I want to highlight a crucial couple of things here, small minor details that we talk about basics in football and you just have to get the basics right, whether it's simple passes, playing the smart options, defending smartly, and another thing is pressing smartly. And it's a small thing, but Havertz curved his press on Onana, so he was partly going to block Casemiro, I think, to prevent this simple pass here. But it's not like Onana didn't have time to play this ball on. Onana's right-footed, simple pass here. And then we can almost maybe see a style of play where it goes from there into Mainu to Diallo. And then maybe he can try and find a ball round here for Højlund to run onto. Just a quick counter-attacking phase of play. And we could have seen something like that. Instead, Havertz does really well to, and I hate Havertz, but I'm going to give him credit, curve his run in this direction. And what that meant is that Onana, who I think is overconfident at playing out from the back, I don't think he's as good as people say he is. He was really good at Inter Milan, but I think at Man United he struggled playing out from the back a lot, and his left foot is nowhere near as good as I think he thinks it is. Havertz presses him onto his left foot, so Onana's left with no option other than to play the ball high. And Evans today stepped really high a lot of the time. Whether it was Havertz or Odegaard in that attacking midfield position, they interchanged a lot. Evans would push up to try and press them pretty much, or block any pass into them. And I think it was a smart move, because we know that they're very creative players. Havertz and Odegaard are brilliant ball players. Again, pains me to admit, but Havertz is having a great season, finally. It was great in principle, I think, but as we carry on with this style of play, Onana then clears the ball with his left foot, and Havertz on this curve runs round into a position about here. And as you can see, if you look across this line here, Casemiro is playing him onside. And I'll show you the photo now as well. You can see Casemiro has gone to split, as if the centre-backs were going to split, so he's gone wide right to provide a passing option for Onana should he need it. Great that, okay, Onana's cleared the ball, Casemiro wasn't needed. What he has to do immediately is push high. He has to get out quick. He can see Havertz has run into a position where he could be... He's pretty much the highest Arsenal player. Casemiro just has to get out a little bit quicker, and Havertz is offside. He just jogs out so slowly that by the time the ball comes over here, I can't remember who it was, but there's a turnover over here, and the ball comes high to Havertz. And in this position, he carries the ball to the byline, does really well, and Evans is dropping deep. Amrabat is trying to come back. Casemiro's dropping, but Trossard is making this brilliant run into the box, and Wan-Bissaka tries to get there, but Trossard runs in between the centre-back and the full-back. The ball comes in, and it's a goal for Trossard. And I think the entire blame for this goal, not entire blame necessarily, I think Evans should do a bit better as he comes to block Havertz. I think it's Evans anyway in this position. I think Evans should get tighter to Havertz. I get why he hasn't. Don't want to commit a foul in the box. But it meant a simple pass across the face of the goal for Havertz to play for Trossard to tap in. You should be forcing Havertz to maybe try and chip the ball in, or just do anything other than just play a simple square ball across the face of goal. Because at that point, you're backing Wan-Bissaka and Casemiro and Evans to get the header first before Trossard does. And at this point, Man United are 1-0 down, and probably deservedly so in the sense that this was really poor from Casemiro. I don't want to criticise him too much. He's been through so much recently with criticism, and I do think rightly so. He's not suited for this centre-back role. I think Amrabat would be better in centre-back than Casemiro has been. I think it's his fault not pushing out higher. Now, maybe the ball still comes to Havertz and the goal still happens, but he would be offside at that point, and VAR would probably rule it out if it's not immediately given. I do also think Onana should have just played the simple pass much sooner, played it to Casemiro and they can build out from the back again, rather than being forced to play it long with his left foot. Again, I said I really don't think he's good on his left foot, and yet he's such a great ball-playing goalkeeper. He was so good for Inter Milan last year. You look in the Champions League final, his passing was brilliant, and I think that's why Man United signed him, and yet it's just not working. I actually think he made a few good saves today, but his passing was poor, and he kicked it into a danger zone, turnover of play, and 1-0. I did actually really like Man United's style of play today. We've criticised them before for how poor they can be on the ball and for how just their systems don't work. Their midfield is always so open that it's easy for opposition to exploit that. And yeah, I think they did all right today. And the interchange on the left-hand side was really not enjoyable to watch because it didn't come to anything, but I think it was really smart. I'll show you the average positions for Dalot, Garnacho and Højlund as I'm speaking. You can see now they almost all are playing in a very attacking role, very close to each other on that left-hand side. Højlund would often drop a bit deeper to try and get on the ball. It meant that there was a space for Garnacho to attack into, almost come inside a little bit, attack the edge of the box, becoming almost a bit further in than the half space, and then it left a load of space on the left-hand side for Dalot to attack. He almost played as a left winger today. And I think Ben White struggled a little bit actually, especially with the overloads. Ben White was often 2 versus 1 against him, with Dalot and sometimes McTominay, sometimes Højlund, sometimes Garnacho, all up against him. And so if Saliba had to come across to almost, not a right back position, but come across a bit wider than maybe he would have liked, and Partey would drop deep into the centre back position. So it meant that they weren't always 2 versus 1, so Saliba could come and support Ben White. But the interchange was really nice, and I think it could have come to something, but the passing just wasn't there. The attacking the box wasn't there, and it didn't actually. If the crossing was better, I think something could have come of it. If the runs were better, something could have come of it, but it didn't. But Man United really focused their play on that left-hand side, and it left Diallo on the right-hand side, especially with Tomiyasu tucking in a bit. Diallo had a load of space on that right-hand side, and I think he had a good game, to be fair. Technically, he was pretty good. I don't think it was a penalty, that foul on him, but then when you look at what Arsenal were awarded the other day on Havertz, I mean, I don't think it was any different, but I don't think either of them were penalties, so I think it was right that Diallo didn't get that penalty. I do want to focus on Amrabat today as well. I think he had a really decent game. Nothing exceptional, but we've criticised Man United's midfield a lot recently, well, the entire year. And I think Amrabat did really well. I think he actually would have been better in the centre-back position than Casemiro. I think you would have lost a bit of creativity in the midfield with Casemiro there instead. But I think that defensive solidity that Amrabat would have provided at centre-back would have been a bit better, just a bit more mobile, a bit more agile, quicker, and maybe he wouldn't have played Havertz on side. But I'll show you his touch map now. He was really good at just covering the ground. Him and Mainu, I think, in the midfield were really good at working as a team. And I think this has to be the Man United midfield at the moment. Obviously, McTominay would come out if Bruno was fit, and Rashford would probably also play. But they weren't. But I think Mainu and Amrabat had a really good game today. I was quite impressed. But the main thing that I think Man United didn't exploit today were their wingers and their timing of runs. In football, making your runs so you attack the box at the right time or so you stay on side are crucial. You look at the runs that I can't believe I'm saying this, that Chelsea players are making at the moment. Jackson and Mudryk are making really good runs in behind. Palmer's able to find them, and I think Man United could be doing something like that. They just don't, and the issue is their wingers are so selfish in a sense. I had Garnacho in my FPL team, so I was praying he did score. But every time Garnacho got on the ball, or Diallo was a bit more creative, I actually think. I think he did a bit better, but he still tried to cut inside to play a little bit more technical than he needed to. And then when Anthony came on, again, I think he did what Garnacho was doing on the left-hand side. Every time they got the ball, they attacked. They didn't play the passes at the right time. And I think they were trying to be a bit too selfish to cut inside and get the shot in, instead, rather than playing a simple pass back into the middle of the pitch. They would try and attack the byline, and then their crosses were really poor today. I haven't actually got the stats for their crosses, but I doubt I can probably find it here actually. I don't think their crossing accuracy was great at all. Yeah, Man United made 1 out of 16 crosses. That's really poor, and I think that's primarily because Garnacho, Diallo, Antony were overhitting them crosses constantly. But also, I don't think they're fully to blame, because I don't think the runs from the attackers were great either. Højlund was pretty much the only person ever in the box when a cross did come in, so your chances of winning the header are so slim, especially against the likes of Partey, Gabriel, Tomiyasu and Saliba, that you can't really blame Højlund for not winning headers. But McTominay has to be pushing into the box at the right time. I think maybe Amrabat or Mainu should be getting in there a bit more, and the opposite winger should be getting in there as well. And they just didn't. I think that's something that Man United really need to work on, is their runs into their box at the right time. Timing of the runs is essential in football, and I think it's the area that Man United really need to focus on to exploit them opportunities a lot more. Because Garnacho and Diallo and Antony got on the ball a fair amount of times, and they just did nothing with it, which is where I think Man United lost a lot of their attacking fluidity. Regardless, I think Man United played well today, and I actually think Arsenal were poor. I'm surprised Jorginho didn't come on for Partey a lot sooner. Partey was poor today as well. He was sloppy. He looked like he wasn't running with any intensity whatsoever in his passing. I think the stats would say they were good, but I don't actually think they were that good. I don't know if that's just an eye test. Just visually, I don't think he played very well, and I thought Jorginho should have come on much sooner to get control of the game, because Arsenal did not dominate the ball. Defensively, they were good and solid at the back, but a team like Arsenal against Man United, who are on poor form, I expected Arsenal to dominate the ball and almost do to Man United what Man United did to them. But they didn't. Regardless, as I said at the start of this video, they are a team showing real determination. Last year we saw it was games like this where when they just had to get it done, they didn't. But this year they're a bit more mature, and it was one of them moments where, despite only being 1-0 up, they just had to make sure they didn't concede, especially in them final moments as Man United went into almost a 3-1-6 or a 2-2-5 with Onana almost playing as a centre-back half the time. Arsenal had to go into a back five. They defended in a 5-4-1, and they were solid. They did their jobs, and they just got it done. And for that reason, we are going to the final day to see who's going to win this league. I still would put my money on Man City. They play Spurs. Is it Tuesday night, I believe? That'll be a good game. Almost one day if Spurs are going to throw it away just so that Arsenal can't win the league. But I also don't think Ange would do that. I don't think he'd let his team lose for the sake of Arsenal. You know, they're going to want to try and win still. So anything other than a Man City win makes it a really interesting final day. But I do reckon Man City will win. But let me know what you guys think. What did you think of today's game? Were you impressed with Man United as much as I was? Even though they were poor still, they were much better than they have been. And who do you think is going to win it? What's going to happen? It's going to be a brilliant week next week. I'm really excited to see the midweek football and then the final day. Everyone loves the final day of the season. Well, I don't, because it means the season's over. But when we've got a title race like this, I like the drama. We all love a bit of drama in football. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But until then, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know, how bad is Casemiro? On a scale of 1 to 10, let me know what you think. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys with another video very soon. And yeah, tough luck Man United. Chelsea remain 7th. Let's go. This is so bad.